I take it you're ready. Let us begin today's morning service with the following thought, the following idea, the following theory, the following quote. This is from Thomas Pynchon. This is a journalist and the like, Thomas Pynchon, who said, if they can get you asking the wrong questions, they don't have to worry about the answers. Let's say this again. Let us say this again. If they can get you to keep asking the wrong questions, they don't have to worry about the answers. Do you understand how that works? What we are seeing here, again, yet again, is me trying my best to focus people on what really, really matters. And to look at things and have you disabuse, to denude yourself of what you believe. And to learn how to critically think and answer the question. And answer the question. Answer the question. I was listening yesterday to a lecture by Eliezer Yudkowsky. It was an interview. Those are the interviews I really enjoy. It's about artificial intelligence and it's about learning. And one of the things that people have a difficult time with AI and AGI is the notion of what learning is. What does learning mean? How do we learn? And how do you convey learning to, in essence, a machine? Does that make sense to you? Though it's not a machine, but that's a phrase that we use. And there are these interesting fallacies and observations. For example, one of them is, I can't remember the name, but something of conjunctive. And to give you an example. Reagan implemented a policy and inflation went down. Question. Did Reagan's policy cause inflation to decrease? Sometimes things happen anyway. Sometimes things will just go away. Sometimes things happen, will go away, will increase, irrespective of what you do. So consequently, when you apply some form of treatment or plan or what have you, you then have to say the reason why it went up or down was because of something. Sometimes you cannot apply causation to this. Now, what I just said is a waste of time. There's this woman, Malliotakis, who all of a sudden is acting real tough in front of Congress. Well, how come you didn't notice this about vaccine problems before? And why didn't you say this? Where were you before? Where were you before when the coast wasn't clear? That's my thing. How do I explain this to a artificial intelligence people? How do you understand this? How do I explain? How do I work? If I'm trying to build AGI, you've got to understand how humans think, what they don't think, and why they jump to conclusions. It's the most incredible thing anybody's ever seen. They jump to conclusions. Or you have to understand how human beings react parochially to certain things. And by the way, if you're trying to, what AGI will learn is how, like Pynchon said, get people to ask the wrong questions. Have people not understand how to critically think. Look at Twitter profiles and tell right away, what's this story? As soon as I see somebody doing beauty shots sitting in the front seat of their car, I realize, okay, I got this. I got it. I got it. You ever seen it? There are people who will espouse a particular position. AGI will be able to look at this and say, I know exactly what needs to be done. I know exactly how to attract this person. I got it. I know how to persuade. I understand it. Now, one of the things which is the most interesting is I would try to figure out into this world called social media, Twitter in particular. And I don't know, it's almost like Heisenberg to an extent. Heisenberg says, whenever you look at something and you observe something, it changes the actual outcome, the results, or the behavior by you just observing it. Something happens when you take somebody and you put them in a group or you put them on social media. Something happens to them. They're not the same person. They are not the same person. Something happens. So AGI would figure this out. Okay, I got it. Tucker Carlson, in one of the most boneheaded moves ever, decides to interview Andrew Tate. Stupid. Profoundly stupid. If you took a group of people and say, okay, I for one think that when he was at his best, nobody could touch him. He was the smartest person on Fox News, but that's like saying the fastest 90-year-old. Okay, fine. He was the most literate, the most cogent, the most a lot of things. You got it? Good. Okay. People on social media love to spout information that says, I got it, I understand, I know, I understand what this is. This doesn't surprise me. I have no questions. I have no observations. This is obvious. And what they're saying is this. Tucker Carlson has the right to do this. It's his thing. He has guts. I love him. He's wonderful. Don't talk about my boyfriend. That's the way. This is the way we think, because we've gotten into this parochialism, this cult of personality regarding certain people. It's the most boneheaded thing in the world I've ever seen in my life. It's so stupid. It's like, what are you doing? Just like when the idea of taking Bud Light, of all the things in the world, you can say, you know what, you can do whatever you want to do. Bud Light tends to be, by virtue of the demographic, kind of a lower grade, lower demographic beer. And it was just a boneheaded move. I asked a friend of mine, I said, let me ask you a question. Would you agree that there are certain forms of beer that appeal to certain people, certain groups, depending upon where you are? If you're in certain parts of the country, certain parts of the world, old style, Chicago, Rolling Rock, used to be Schaefer's, this, that, blah, blah, kind of regional beers. Malt liquor, historically, urban, African-American, people of color, predominantly. Billy D. Williams, Colt 45, sorry. If you don't know this, you don't know anything about the demographics. Now, let me ask you something. What would have happened had they done a Dylan Mulvaney regarding a product that is predominantly, or that has a higher percentage of African-American consumers? What do you think would happen? Disaster. What would they have said? What would they have said? One of the things people don't understand, because people do not look at data, they just shoot from the hip and then hope it makes sense. Years ago, when Prop 8, whatever it was, I forget, Prop 8, yeah, in California, there was the issue, the ballot referendum that dealt with gay marriage. A lot of the proponents of such believe that the African-American voting bloc would certainly vote for that, because they understand prior to 1967 and Loving against Virginia, anti-miscegenation laws prevented blacks and whites from marrying. Not whites and Asians, but blacks and whites, which is one of the bases of his overturning. In any event, so they said, And on paper, this makes sense. They said, well, they must certainly understand how gay marriage makes sense because they themselves, they went through a period of time when they could not marry the people that they wanted because of their race. So therefore, they will be able to extrapolate this and put it into the position where they could commiserate with what we are doing because they're black, blacks and whites couldn't marry, the sanctity of marriage. Great. Overwhelmingly, the African American voting population in California was against gay marriage. Why? Because so many of them were conservative, Christian, evangelical, whatever you want. Very, very conservative. Very. Gay marriage? No. Now, this was then. It might be different now, but this was then. Why? They just anticipated. So why don't you think anybody did any of this Dylan Mulvaney stuff with products that have historically been or catered to a black or Latino, or let's say a black demographic, because they knew this isn't going to work. Black community would not have had this angst about trying to accept Dylan Mulvaney. And anyway, make a long story short, it failed. It was a failure. We all knew this. And people had no problem whatsoever in saying the reason why this made no sense was because of the fact that Dylan Mulvaney was So it was great. Now, here's Tucker Carlson. You love Tucker Carlson. You have TDS, most probably. Not you, but what I mean, if you're in this country and if you're of that particular bent, you have Tucker derangement syndrome positive. You are in love with Tucker Carlson. You love him. He's your boyfriend. You love him. You think he's the greatest thing in the world. You love Tucker Carlson. You love him. Everything he does. And you turn to your friends and you love, oh, I love him. I love him more. Oh, I love him more. No, I love him more. Oh, I love him. Oh, he's Tucker Carlson. Oh, he's so Tucker. Oh, he's so wonderful. So, okay. Fine. Fine. Would you have advised him, hey, Tucker, do me a favor. You've got, what is this, your 9th drop? Yeah. Interview this guy who was accused of all of these things that are going on right now as the country, for the first time, is talking about human trafficking. Human trafficking, sexual exploitation, women, children, as this top of mind. Now's the time for you, out of all the people in the world to talk to, not veterans, not heroes, not people who are the victims of sexual trafficking, because that would have been the best one. It would have been the best one ever. No, interview this man that you apparently, I think, have kind of like a crush on or something. He has a crush. He has like a man crush on. There's this weird thing that he does and others are doing. Men who themselves are trying desperately to understand, to identify, because the simplest of things are being completely confounded. Let me stop for 1 second and acknowledge our good friend John McGuire. Couldn't get higher. Companies forget that many of their customers buy out of habit. If you have a superior product, you'll keep the customer. If your product is basically the same, your market position is precarious. Excellent point, John. Yes, and whether it's superior or not, people will buy out of habit. For example, when most people go to the store and you say, can you pick me up something? Yeah. Get me some, paper towel. You might have something. Get me some this, that, I don't know, some kind of saran wrap or whatever we would call it. I like names that have become so identified with the product, like Xerox and all that. But the one thing that we have absolutely name brand people are very, very fastidious about, and that's toilet paper. Oh, Scott, double thick, blah, blah, blah. Charmin 2-ply, 80. You have particular. You have particular brands, and why the bidet is not used in this country, I have no idea. I have no earthly idea. It is the most stupid thing because we're just de starura. In any event, even. Remember the old mafia hangouts, like, who was it, Provenzano? These mafia hangouts, the guy's been underground for 30 years, and even he's got a bidet in this thing. Anyway, people are funny about names and that sort of thing. So what happens is, there's this man crush thing. Zuckerberg is going out of his way and saying, see, I'm tough. Look, I'm look at my six pack. I'm doing judo and grappling. I'm a man. I'm tough. Oh, okay. Elon Musk, my schwanz, my schmeckle is da. And he's doing all kinds of references to that. Okay, I got it. Hyper-masculine. Let's talk about boxing is still the most beautiful art in the world versus going on trying to clobber somebody and choke somebody and grapple. I mean, that's okay. I'm not going to argue. But look at where we are right now. And Tucker's always had this thing where he's got these crushes. Like, for example, he thinks that, I don't know why, like this Dave Portnoy is cool or something. He really does. He looks at him and says, ooh, I like this guy. I want to kind of be like, I kind of want to hang with him. Can we be friends? And Elon Musk, Tucker could have, if Elon Musk said, okay, you can interview me, but when I walk, you have to grovel and lick the floor where I... Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just unseemly. Why? Male identification. Something weird. Andrew Tate. Hyperman, kickboxer, hyperman. I've got my rules of... Okay. It is so pathetic right now that people look to Jordan Peterson for rules about how to be a man and how to be an adult and make your bed and do this stuff. I mean, it is so sad. We are awash with real senses of philosophy, and men in particular. Men have been, oh my God, men want to be women. You want to be a woman. If you want to be a transition, you got it here. But what does it mean to be a man? What does that mean? Do I have to do this? Of course not. One of the greatest stories ever was from Bronx Tale, when he says, you know what's a tough guy? Getting up and going to work. You know what tough is? The single mom who's working 2 jobs. That's tough. That's the hero. Those are the people. The people who just do some of the most, seemingly most, and I don't know. The people who just try to they are my heroes. Not somebody who does Muay Thai or Pad Thai or whatever it is. This is so stupid. We have lost ourselves. There is such a... Masculinity is so bereft. People, they really don't understand this. Like, I want to say this to you. It's about being an adult. Your gender will follow suit. Most of the time, you're being an adult. You're not being a man. You're not being a woman. You're not being a trans. You're being an adult. Responsibility or thinking... That's what it's about. It's not about this. Do you want to go out and you want to choke somebody out? Okay, that's okay. I love all of a sudden these gun folks. Guns. I've been a Second Amendment advocate all my life, since I first knew about it. And I'm telling you, 95% of the people should not have guns. No way. No way. Even though it's provided, even though it's a constitutional right, I do not want that. Because we have morons today. We have morons. Little boys are going out saying, I don't have any more room for my tattoos. Am I tough enough? I'm taking human growth hormone. Is that enough? Am I tough enough? You got some space here. You can put okay, yeah, you're right. Back there? Okay, let me go put some more. Do I look mean? Do I look tough enough? Yes, you do. Do I look tough? What about a cauliflower ear? Would that help? Yes. Do I have... You know what? I'm sure there's a way we can have that surgically to give you, you can lose some teeth. Remember the old days, the German soldiers had the dueling scars? Remember that? This is pathetic. So here's Tucker Carlson. And by the way, both of them conspicuously without socks. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I'm going to say. And I don't think he's wearing any kind of peds either. That's a big deal. You got to understand something. I'm a Nantucket, Newport, kind of a yacht clubby, cool guy. I'm a sort of a Vineyard Vines kind of a preppy, kind of cool dude who yet has this incredible penchant for fly fishing, field stripping moose, and guns. I like guns. Why? Because I'm being prototypically extremely conspicuously male, despite the fact that deep down inside, I don't really know. I'm a bit of a dandy. That's fine. But I'm going to hang around people that I want to be. I want to be these people. I want to be them. I interview people that I like. Women, not too crazy. But men, I really want to hang around men. And I'll just leave it at that. Because they talked about, they called it crypto homoeroticism, but it's absolutely. I walked by a firehouse the other day, saw a bunch of firemen. God bless them. They're all palling around like brothers. And there was a camaraderie and a level of love that can only be accomplished with men, among men. I'm not saying it's sexual. I'm not saying, but it was something that, and we don't even spend time thinking about it. Women have just met that challenge. Women have no problem. Women say, "This, you look so beautiful. This is my girlfriend." We hold hands. We love. They're not lesbian, or maybe. The classic thing is they go to college and meet somebody, their roommate, they're intimate. Women are far more okay with that in the old days. But now it's very confusing. So here's the story. People are talking all around the subject. And some moron on Twitter said, it's Tucker's right. He can do whatever he wants. I said, that's not the point. Again, you missed the point. That's my story. You missed the point. That's not the issue. It's not the issue. It's not the issue. It's not the issue. It's not the issue. That's not the issue. We're not talking about that. You're missing the point. You're missing the point. Nobody wants Tucker deplatformed. That's not the point. What would be best for you? Do you think it would be good? The best move for Bud Light would have been to have done that? No. So therefore you have an opinion, right? Okay, here's the thing. Tucker Carlson very, very, very quickly, just as an example, I would have done the following. I told you. It's a big studio. Kids are silhouetted. Dark. You can't see them. We have doctors, physicians, people, social workers, little kids. Their identities obscured. Parents are okay with it. How many of you were trafficked? Hands go up. Little hands. See them all there. Doctor, let's talk to. And by the way, this is online, so you can get really serious. A doctor, and we know this. ER trauma nurses. What have you seen? Tell me the trauma. Tell me the surgical repair, plastic surgery, restorative and reconstructive surgery. Tell me about what happens to these young children later on who have had STDs, who will have lifetime incontinence, who have a bladder and bowel reconstruction, who have suffered from the most horrific internal. Really, talk about this. Don't have on Andrew Tate. Talk about this. And they say, now, by the way, is this a conspiracy theory? Would Rolling Stone think that this is somehow maybe just a bunch of contrived misunderstanding? That the examples of this, and by the way, that the UN, the DOJ, and every country on the planet has acknowledged this. But Rolling Stone and others say, no, that's just some weird kind of creepy conspiracy theory, blood ritual. I don't know. That would have been the most compelling, instructive, memorable, historic, most powerful and critical moment in the history of recorded broadcasting. It could have been something that just makes people's jaws drop and force them, do not look away from this. No acting, no Jim Caviezel, no Mel Gibson, no nothing. Kids, doctors, nurses. And then we say, and by the way, guess what country these kids are from? Guess. South America? Nope. Here. Cleveland, Baltimore, LA, New York. Hopewell Springs, Arkansas. I just made that up. Little towns, big towns, all over the place. Guess how many of these people were sold by their family members? Guess how many people were recruited online? Guess how many people were the new face? It would be the most It would be one of those moments where you would say, thank you, Tucker, thank you. He would be given awards by people. Thank you for broaching the subject. Thank you for making us aware of this. Thank you for letting us know. Thank you for bringing this subject home. Thank you for explaining this in a way that nobody else has done this. Thank you for demystifying it. Thank you for being clear and limpid and pellucid and adult and honest about it. Thank you. Thank you for this. We have no idea. We've been listening to all this nonsense. I had no idea. When you see little hands go up, imagine that. Just dark, each of them silhouetted. And you think, oh my God, he could have done that. But no, he went to Romania to interview Andrew Tate. Why? Because he's lost his mind. Ray Epps. Everybody here is he's an agent. Good. Take a stand. What? Take the stand. Take the stand. I'm calling you as a witness. Take your stand. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. State your name for the record? Yeah. You said Ray Epps is an agent? Yeah. Prove it. What? Prove it. Tucker Carlson said to prove it. You prove it. Why is he prove it? Prove. Well, he wasn't arrested. Really? And he's saying, let's enter. Okay. Do you know how many people said, let's enter and weren't arrested? No. You know how many people who were inside the Capitol and weren't arrested? No. You have no idea, do you? No. No. You ever think about that? No. So why is he? Well, because Tucker told you. And you went online and somebody said this and you wanted to be cool, so you retweeted it and you wanted to show collective membership in the group, in the pack. And you wanted to show your fellow, your brethren, that you were on board and you knew the shibboleths and you knew what it was called and you did it, right? Yeah. Now, let me ask you one more time. Do you have any testimony? Has any FBI agent ever told you? No. Has anybody testified? No. He wasn't arrested. Your only evidence is that he wasn't arrested, okay? Is that right? That's it? Yes. And again, I ask you, do you know how many people weren't arrested? The total number of people were there who were identified who weren't charged. No. Now, I'm not saying it's fair. I don't think anybody should have been charged. I think January 6th was the biggest non-event ever. Ever. And of course, yes, you have agents provocateurs. You have the FBI has been a part of the whole, remember the terrorist thing? What was it, the Lackawanna 6? I'll never forget this. Upstate New York, maybe? It was a Holiday Inn Express. Please, I'm doing this from memory. You had a video, and they recruited these young, people to be terrorists for Al-Qaeda or something like that. And the leader, doing a lot of air quotes today, the leader said, we need artillery. He wants artillery. I'm not making this up. Do you understand this? There was a fellow here in New York who was at the Times Square. He had a van, the propane tank. He had, I think, an M80 either attached to it or nearby. He left his wallet, his papers, everything involved in the tank or in the van, and they arrested him. They called him the Times Square Bomber, and everybody said without exception, this M80 could not have incinerated or detonated a propane tank. There was no, but they call him the Times Square Bomber. Guess who recruited him? Guess. There have been informants since the beginning of time. Go down, these great mafia, you ever see these? They're all informants. Everybody, at one point or another. They all flipped. I don't want to say they're rats. So I've got news for you. Anybody who knows anything about this, the idea of having undercover agents, operatives there in any group whatsoever, many of them, believe it or not, some of them to observe, get intel, whatever it is, and even among Antifa. Antifa, they've got agents. You never hear of any Antifa person getting busted. Well, I mean, you every now and then you do, but they do that as well. See, but all of a sudden people say, but I'm an expert in this. No, you're not an expert. You just came along at the last minute, and you think that because you've been watching this and listening to everybody online, that because somebody has a video of Ray Epps, and by the way, if he was, and if you said, do you think he was? It's like, are you kidding me? Whether I think he was or not is a different story. I can't prove it. But here's the thing, and this is the problem, and this is what nobody will understand. If you go on TV and you say this, I'm no expert, and I don't know anything about this, but you know that guy right there? Yeah. He's saying, let's storm the Capitol. See that other guy there? Yeah, the other guy there is Proud Boys or Boogaloo Boy or whatever they are. See, he's saying the same thing. Now, this guy was arrested, but this guy wasn't. Why do you think that is? That's the strangest thing. Now, is that libelous? Nope. That's observational. You just made a bigger point. It's even bigger, as opposed to this man is an agent. And what happens is, and you have to understand something, please, present company excluded, the morons on social media defy description. Morons. People I never even knew existed. I never ran into them. I didn't know them. We may agree in theory on something, but they're morons. Uneducated, non-critical thinking, poltroons, bladderoons, jadrules, idiots that you cannot believe. And I'm thinking, where did you get this? Where are you from? Where did you get this? How did you, years ago, people were saying Hillary Clinton was everything from a cannibal to I mean, there was human sacrifice. There is nothing you can say. There was nothing you could say. Her, Podesta, everybody. It started from this, like, well, that looks weird, to she's a cannibal. Wait a minute. Hold it. You had me there. How did you get here? Well, here, let me send you a video. And then there were these crackpots who just, and the best part is, a lot of these social media people said, come on, keep doing it. Come on. Go, put the videos out. You can still see them. That they're involved in satanic, it's wild. Where did you get this from? Tell me how you got this. Cannibalism on the planet is not as common as you might think. I know this may be a big brain consumption, prions, and all kinds of big problems. Big. Remember when, oh God, what was it? Wait a minute, hold it. I thought I would never forget this. Oh my God. Where was this from? Where was this? I've got to give you this one. I've got to... Hang on a minute. Oh, I got it somewhere. There was a... Dear God. Hang on a minute. I'm trying to get the name of this. And I cannot remember, and I'm going to do it. It was called... Oh, God. I'm going to get it. See what I'm doing? I'm always looking things up. I'm always looking this up. Anyway, I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it for you. I remember when it came up. Oh God! And I talked to a friend of mine who was a medical school. I said, "Do you?" I'm going to think of it. It's driving me nuts. Talk amongst yourself. I'm not done yet. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. This is so funny. I run into old videos from people I used to know that we used to be friends with. And we stopped for reasons I will never understand. I lost so many friends. It's so funny. I said, I lost so many friends during COVID. You mean because of the disease? No. Because of talking about it. I lost all these friends. They're just gone. It's the weirdest thing I've ever... People that we have barely really anything in common. And lo and behold, we have these things. I'm going to find it, damn it. This is driving me crazy. My God. This is dry. I wish I could stop and say, I'm going to get back with this. Anyway, it was about Hillary Clinton. And overnight, and they're still there overnight, I'm saying, what are these people talking about? Hillary Clinton. Look, I remember one time I was on and by the way, it works the other way too. I was on a TV show. It was a local show. And a friend of mine said, there's something wrong with Hillary. And I said, yeah. And I said, no, there's something wrong with Hillary. And what happened was, it was one time, do you remember when she was making these faces? It was kind of like, it seemed like she was having a seizure. A tropical seizure. Remember that? She made these. And her head, remember this? She had a fellow with her who was a guy who, I don't know what it was. It was a fellow that was with her who was, he had a benzo pen, and one time he jumped up on stage with her and he said, "Are you okay? You're going to be okay?" And her mic was hot and she was just staring. The night of the DNC, the night she won the nomination, she was, because there were lights and balloons, and there's something about photophobia. So I consulted with friends of mine who were doctors and said, here's a couple of things. Number one, Bill Clinton said that when she fell in the White House, the State Department, she might have had a cloud in her brain. Number two, she had Fresnel lenses. These are those black horn rim glasses that had prismatic lenses for diplopia, for double vision. That's number one. Number two, when she collapsed, remember when she collapsed on 9/11, they threw her in the back of she lost her shoe. Remember that one? They threw her in the back of the van, the ambulance. The next day she was wearing Zeiss B lenses for seizure disorders. All of this stuff. And I was saying this is what people that I know who are physicians who didn't diagnose her, but said, look here. Look at what you're seeing. There's something definitely wrong with this. Nobody cared. They went into cannibalism. And what is the name of there was a disease that people thought she had from cannibal. I forget the name of it. It drives me crazy. And it was the most bizarre, not even close. All you gotta do is read, but because it sounded good, and because the momentum starts, and this thing about it just, this is when I said, okay, I'm backing up. And all of a sudden, Kuru, thank you, Heath. That's what it was. I read this incredibly long. Does not even remotely have it. The symptoms, you'd be dead, you'd be this. That's exact. I remember this. I'm saying, no, read this. I'm not going to read this. Why? Because this Ditz on YouTube has this channel, and I like that. Plus, it's got over 1 million hits. But it's wrong. Doesn't matter. Wait a minute. Let's stick with what's right. Let's work together with this thing. What is it? People were saying that Joe Biden had Alzheimer's. You don't know if he's got Alzheimer's. There's something obviously wrong. Nobody has any care whatsoever about diagnosing anything. They just say stuff. He's dementia. Is this? I've asked people. I know more experts than you can imagine, and they'll say, "This doesn't look like dementia. There are moments of lucidity. Just because somebody gets up and walks around, it's not good. Not somebody you want to be present. But to say you're into full Alzheimer's and dementia, not yet. You don't need to go there. We have no care about proof, no care about how things look. Nobody in their right mind wants to know. I don't understand it. Look at what's happening with Ron DeSantis. He's cratering. He's done. He's finished. I'm not just saying it. It's true. It's absolutely true. Look. I want to find somebody somewhere who understands politics, who understands somewhere this thing called proof. I don't care really about, I'm not out to defend people. But I want to be fair, not because I want to be fair, I want to get it right. There was a story a while back about Hunter and his laptop. And what they did, and I tried to tell these people, do you understand that just because you leave a laptop, just because somebody finds your wallet, doesn't give them a right to put a picture of your credit cards online or post your social security number because the card was in the wallet which you now own. Nobody even began to pretend to understand that because it was Hunter Biden. This is where we are right now. Matt Gaetz did a wonderful job, absolutely clobbering Wray. It was wonderful. I absolutely, positively commend that to you. What will happen? Nothing. NATO. Did you see the pictures? The little boy Zelensky looking like a fool. What is he trying to do? Castro at the UN, walking around with his green. Please. And the best part is nobody can figure out, is Biden in? Am I in? Am I out? It was wonderful. You think most Americans understand that? No. You think most Americans can understand what NATO is? Absolutely not. No. They have, again, because of this thing, Ray Epps is going to clean house with Fox and with Tucker. I don't know about Tucker individually, but they're going to join him. He's going to clean house. Clean house. Put your wife on the stand. This is what they did to me. This is what's going on. I had death threats. I had to move. I'm a Marine. That's what happened to Alex Jones when they said, it wasn't so much that Alex Jones said, I'm not crazy about this Sandy Hook thing. You can disbelieve anything you want. But when people were having basically people targeting them, like, and these people are lying. Nobody wants to say, oh, okay, I see. I understand that. That doesn't mean you don't love Tucker. Doesn't mean he's not your boyfriend anymore. Doesn't mean you lose your Fox News fan club badge. It just means that you're able to realize, in this particular case, that's not the way to do it. And if I were Fox News, I would say the next time we have anybody, we're going to be having a monitor. We're not going to have people talk about Dominion lawsuits, voting. We're not going to have somebody suggest that maybe there was some server in Beijing. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Fox News doesn't even, they settle everything. I mean, I don't even know why they have a legal team. Just say, just give me, round it off. Give me whatever you want. We'll knock 10% off just to seem like we negotiated something. But see, nobody wants to talk about that anymore. Nobody really wants to talk about trafficking. They don't want to talk about kids. No, they want to talk about Podesta emails, and they want to go through this all over again. Don't you understand what's happening? It's this scrum that this causes. These weird people who come out of nowhere, and they just live for this. And by the way, if you want to talk about feds and infiltration, wait till AI, actually AGI, comes in there and really just, oh man. Can you imagine if all of a sudden, for some reason, Twitter were to say, you can't say this, whatever it is. This will get you booted or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, some AGI says, oh, we can do that. Sets up 10,000. Remember, because it can multiply itself daily. You can have 1 million followers because of recursive self-improvement. It can write its own code and duplicate itself. You can have 1 million new seemingly identical Twitter accounts immediately all saying the same thing. It can overwhelm it. It can. You want to talk about informants? Oh my God! So that's what's happening right now. Let's see if you can kind of dig that. Focus on truth. Focus on facts. There's so much to work with right now. And I'm telling you, there is a lunatic now that is trying to be the voice of something. And also, there are so many young men who are in such desperate need of male direction, focus, something. They're looking for something. Huh?
The new face of Maybelline. You gotta look at this.
Oh.
I can't believe what I'm looking at.
The new face of Maybelline, where is it?
It was trending, so I looked.
The new face of Maybelline.
Oh my God.
Mrs. Al is this Gigi Hadid?
Go to Lives of TikTok has the video. No, it's just an announcement.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Hang on. The new face of... Okay. I'm looking. Oh my God. Oh. This is the new ad from makeup brand Maybelline. No.
Shirt and beard?
The beard?
Yeah. The purple shirt.
Go look at the new face of Maybelline. I'm not even gonna. I'm not even gonna. Just go do it. That's it. Dylan Mulvaney was Audrey Hepburn compared to this. I don't know what. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, dear friends, do what I'm saying. Check it out. Now, I want you to also remember what I'm saying. This is critical that you do the following. You must follow Mrs. L. We have a brand new video that we're going to be putting up. It's going to be dropping within the next 25 minutes. Go right there. Go right there. And subscribe to her channel immediately. For the most lucid, the most comprehensive, and the most rational, real. Believe me, if you want horror, we've got horror for you. It's called reality. Go there and follow her. Okay? You got it? Let me see. That's it. I've said enough. Demand proof. Demand proof. And by the way, if you know of look around, look at your young men. Try to tell them, you don't have to know how to choke somebody out to be a man. You don't have to do that. And you don't have to hunt, and you don't have to have a gun. I'm nothing wrong with that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to overtly do anything. The thing that we have to impress upon people the most is people have to be adults and mature and responsible and smart and thinking and critical thinkers. That's it. That's it. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much for being with us. And to Mr. John McGuire, couldn't get higher, thank you for your kindness, for your support, for your generous super chat. Thank you, John. Thank you. The likes, we could use 300. Remember, the more that people like us, the more that we are recommended, and the more that people see an alternative, a rational form. You want to call this conservatism? Fine. I don't think it is. You want to call this liberalism, paleo? I don't care. It's rational, fact-based, evidence-based. That's it. All right, dear friends. Have a great and glorious day. See you tonight at 7 p.m. Until then, remember, as we always end, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Tate. I thought something terrible happened.